Welcome to How Not to Souls, J-Ron here, and today we are looking at a Trevor Belmont cosplay from Castlevania, the anime. He also has been featured in Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, which is a Nintendo game, and all the old Castlevania games are extremely hard. But anyway, we chose the anime because we got a lot of variety out of what you could do. If you ever watched the anime, my most bigger references are from Season 1 and Season 2. I didn't get a chance to get Season 3, but both excellent. But Trevor is good with a longsword, good with a whip, obviously, because that's the whole thing with Castlevania, and he's good with hand-to-hand combat. And that reflects upon our weapons that we use throughout the playthrough. But let's take a look at our numbers. And we can move on from there. So basically, we have a high health and endurance dex build with luck added into the mix because I chose the notch whip. We'll get into that when we go over our weapons. As you can see, faith and intelligence are a base amount. It's just a high dex, some mild luck, and high health and endurance. And any strength we have was meant for weapon requirements. Pretty straightforward. Now for the weapons we chose, for our longsword, we took the sharp Lothric sword. And the Lothric straight sword is one of the better weapons in the game anyway. But the best, I'd say the best straight sword or long sword in the game. But that covers the sword side. Oh, we got a dagger. Well, I took some liberties because within the game, you have daggers and shit. They're throwable items or consumable items that you can throw. But we had it as a little crit weapon. Cestus, so we can do some hand-to-hand fighting combats. CQC, as some people call it, close quarters combat. And we took the notched whip. We made it a blood notched whip to get a higher bleed build up on it because bleed is awesome. And the way I kind of see it, you have a lot of liberties you can take from the games. He uses a standard whip, a flame whip, a chain whip. He uses a Morning Star whip. In the show, he has a regular whip and a Morning Star whip. We don't have a Morning Star whip in this game. And I felt the straight up whip was a little boring. And I felt like throwing bleed on it. So the notched whip, I think, really maximized that bleed potential. As you can see, the damage on it is nothing to write home about. But with the 66 bleed buildup, it was pretty freaking wild. And that's really it for the weapons. That's all we used throughout the playthrough. We used dagger on crits, but it was mostly the Lothric sword, the Cestus, and the notched whip. For our armor / fashion, I'd say Lorian's armor, it's not really Castlevania-ish, but anything else I wore was not great. I don't know. I wore the Drang set for a portion of the game, and it was just, I got sick of it. But the Drang set does look good on this. No headpiece at all. You guys see his face. He doesn't wear a helmet or anything. So, for the rings, we got the Hunter's Ring to get some extra dex out of the situation. Clan 3 ring +3. Ring of Favor +3 for the extra health, stamina, and equip load, which we didn't really need. I guess it helped with the armor because the armor's kind of heavy. And then we use Pontiff's Right Eye. And this can honestly be subbed out for really anything. We can get better rolls with the blood ring at a cost of defense. We could get the Karthus milk ring involved. I also had an idea that like red tearstone ring could be used in an emergency when our health is low. We get the extra damage boost. And when our health is full, the Void Sword Ring to get the extra on attack. Also, the Farron Ring was pretty wild as well. It reduces FP costs when we use skills. Because we did not cast any spells. For our consumables, obviously our Estises are there. I used a wide variety of gold pine resins. I think like any kind of magic would be against what Trevor is. Or I didn't take any Halloween either, just because he wouldn't do that for the extra strength. He fights undead, he fights vampires. So that's what we did. We used a variety of resins though that helped out a great deal throughout the playthrough. I think the most used was gold pine, human pine, and the charcoal pine. I mean, others else were used. We could use the pale pine resin, which is fine. They're all fine. I didn't use the poison. Poison could have been effective. And we also had Karthus Rouge on our whip before we bleed infused the notched whip. And for other consumables, so the game, he has holy water. We don't have holy water, but we do have a number of fire bombs, lightning urns. We had kukris, throwing knives to use. I think the Guardian Church Shiv could have been good on this as well. Yeah. That's pretty much the skinny on that. Pretty good stuff. And, oh yeah, I mean, you can use your green blossoms. You know what I mean. You're getting the idea. You can use a number of things to help get you extra damage, regain your stamina, get a little range damage. When we did use a bow, because we didn't really use a bow unless we had to use it out of necessity. What was it? The longbow or the Oni Slayer Great Bow. Out of necessity only. I just don't like that dragon and Lothric. Like right when you get there. When you go down when you go down the ladder, then up the stairs, and he's just like killing everything. He'll kill you or everything around him. But overall, I said I had a really fun time on this build. I don't know if it's like crazy powerful or anything, but it was fun. Having the whip as a sidearm was super cool. Along with the Cestus. Cestus is actually a great, like, you go up with the guy with a heavy shield or just turtling, just give him the combo. It just kind of stun locks him in place, or he'll keep like blocking. It's enough to like break his shield poise, and you can go in for the crit. And then obviously our sharp Lothric sword. But man, what a good time. I wouldn't say it's like the strongest thing, but it's a fun thing. And I think this would be great. So I know it's good in PvE. I think this would be a good like offsetter in PvP. I don't think people will understand what you have until you bust out the whip. You know what I mean? Because you can approach fights in like a number of different ways. You can two-hand your sword. You can two-hand your whip. You can bust out your cestus. Really, you got these three solid options, which you could change up because they're very interchangeable. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of the footage, and I'll see you later. Peace out.